Yo ninjas, I'm Kaio. In this video I'm gonna show you the one exercise you need to learn the Airflare. If you need more help to learn Airflares, check out the detailed PDF guide that I made, link in the description. In this guide I give you all the information you need to learn Airflares in every specific case. If you are flexible, if you are not flexible, if you wanna do it vertically, but if you wanna do it also lower, which are the requirements in each case, which technique fits you best, and how to not waste your time and practice the Airflare with a technique that doesn't fit you. So the hardest part of the Airflare is the jump, jumping from one arm to the other. The start is pretty easy, and also the landing part and then leaning the second hand on the floor. It's easy because you basically repeat the starting part. The same as a swipe, basically. The real trouble is the jump. So in this video, we're taking the jump and we are only practicing the jump without the start. If we do that, we don't have momentum anymore because with the start of the Airflare, so with this movement here, you're giving the momentum, but in this case we want to kill the momentum and just focus on the jump. In this way, we should learn how to jump from one end to the other by just using our legs, our hips and our torso properly. At first, it may seem even more challenging than the Airflare itself, but once you get it how it works, it will make your Airflare way easier. So the first thing you should be able to do is doing Airfreezes on both sides. This is very important. I recommend you doing Airfreezes with different leg shapes. But in this video, in this tutorial, we're just gonna focus on the hand-ups leg shape. So keeping the knees towards the chest in this way here. Pump, and on the other side the same, like this. If you can do some hand-ups on both sides, it will be even better, with good form. Good form, I mean kicking the knees properly, not doing this with the feet while doing hand-ups, but moving your knees in this way towards the chest. So the hand-ups is not only pushing the legs out, but remember it's also pulling the legs towards your chest. When you want to reach the hand-up position, pull your knees towards your chest and then push and then immediately pull again. Push and pull, push and pull. Why we should learn that? Because in the Airflare is exactly the same. So we are pulling our legs towards our chest or our shoulders, like this or like this. Then we are pushing out and then we are pulling back in the landing part. How to learn this movement? The easier exercise you can do is starting from the cartwheel. If you do Airflare clockwise like me, you will start the cartwheel with the right hand. Basically, the first step is just doing a cartwheel with our legs bent in this way here, or if you want, in this way here. So, something like this. Now, the second step is adding a little hop while we transition from the first hand to the second hand. So when you are here, you pull, and then you jump to the other side and you push and you pull again, like this. So, since we are pulling, then pushing and then pulling again, the movement of the legs shouldn't look too big. So it shouldn't look like you're doing this with the legs too much, but it should look more like this. A very quick but powerful push, okay? Also the hop from one end to the other, it shouldn't look so big for the moment. It should look more like a bounce, so bouncing from one end to the other, but not really a big hop like an Airflare. When we make sure to have the correct posture, we can evolve it and try to make the movement a little bigger, a little wider and jumping more. Second step, focus about the head. When we do the start, we look at the floor. But then when we jump, we don't look at the floor anymore, but we look in the air. Some people used to look their arm, like this, the throwing hand. Some people used to look at their feet or the legs. In my case, I don't look anything. I mean, I don't really pay attention where I look at, but I just know that my head is not like looking at the ground, like arching, but is looking in the air somewhere. So to try to imitate this feeling in the vertical Airflare, we want to tuck the chin in. We want to do this in order to not look at the floor anymore. Because when we do a regular cartwheel, usually we look at the floor. But to remove the fear of the jump, we should get used to look up and to look at the sky or to look at the ceiling or to look like in the air. To learn this move as efficiently as possible, you have to follow a specific plan or method, and not just practice the move randomly or following too many different tutorials. Because they all give you different information, and the training process could be a little confusing. The courses that I have created collect all the information that is very useful and structure it very clearly to make power moves easy for everyone. They also provide a training plan and some extra tips and concepts. When you can do it, try to put the two things together, hopping a little bit, bouncing the legs, doing a little bounce, a little hop from one end to the other, but at the same time tucking the chin in and looking at the ceiling. For some people, this exercise could already be challenging. If it's too hard for you, don't go ahead and just practice this drill until it feels very natural and comfortable. If it feels comfortable for you, feel free to go ahead and let's see how to evolve it. So it should look something like this. How to evolve it? Now we're going in a straight line. If we start with our front foot in this way, we are leaning the first hand in the same line and then the second hand in the same line. But in the Airflare, we're going in a circle. To try to imitate this Airflare circle and try to transform this cartwheel in an Airflare, you should try to cross this line with the second hand. So if you lean the first hand here, the second hand shouldn't be here, but should cross the line that is here in this case. So right now I'm drawing a straight line like this. With the first hand I touch the line, but with the second hand I try to cross the line and go more turned towards the right in my case. If you spin clockwise, you turn towards the right. If you spin counterclockwise in your Airflare, you turn towards the left. At first, don't try to make it too big, but try to make it just a little bit almost diagonal. So from here, you lean the first hand here, maybe the second here, and you end the cartwheel kind of like here, so not straight like this, but a little bit more on the side. But once you get more control, try to push even more in a circle. The goal should be trying to arrive. If the first hand is here, the second hand should be almost here, somewhere here. So first step is going in a line. First hand here and second hand here. Second step is crossing this line just by a little bit. So first hand here and second just a little bit more here. Third step is going even wider and try to almost draw like a square or an L shape. First point, second point, and then the third point with the second hand would be here, in the same line as the first hand, but not in this line, but in this line here, okay? So 1, 2, and now we draw this line here, and the second hand is going in this line here. If you are able to turn so much, it's most likely you are already doing an Airflare. Remember to tuck the head in, so don't arch yourself, don't look like this, and don't do a bridge in the air, but try to stay neutral with your head and with your back, and try to stay with your legs towards you, keeping the hand-ups shape. So legs, again, like this, or maybe a little bit wider, like this, okay? So the ending goal is doing something like this. If you need more help for your Airflare, check out the guide that I made, link in the description, and see you next time with a new tutorial. Yo ninjas!